There are many stories that describe the birth of the world. The Aztec dual god Ometeotl creating itself from the void. The Egyptian Atum bringing himself to life from the infinite expanse of Nun. Or the Greeks' Chaos forming Gaia, Uranus, and Pontus, who would become the earth, sky, and sea. But I want to share the stories I learned, the stories of Filipino gods and how they shaped the world. This first story is one that I was told when I was a child. In the beginning, there was only the vast sea and the open sky as far as the eye could see, and the bird that flew between them. The bird flew endlessly, looking for a place to nest, but found none. It tried to ask its friends, the sea and sky, for help, but neither did. Desperate and tired, the bird devised a plan that would get them what they wanted. The bird flew down to the water and told the sea that the sky was plotting against them. The sky would cast boulders down from the heavens to break up the oceans and invade their territory. Furious, the sea sent massive waves into the sky, trying to pull them down. The sky, angry and confused, asked the bird what was happening, and the bird told them the sea wanted to take over, that they were going to rip the sky down from its perch and drown them. The sky could hardly believe that the sea would do such a thing. But why would the bird lie? They were friends, were they not? The sea and sky warred for many days and nights, the sea grabbing at the sky sending boulders crashing into the sea. And for all that time, the bird survived only to urge both beings into fighting harder. Before they knew it, the sky had run out of rocks to throw, and had become so light that it retreated even further above the sea. The sea, now full of earth, had grown weary from all the fighting, and called for a truce. And both beings finally settled into a peaceful existence. The bird, its work done, settled on one of the many islands the war had created. At last, they could rest. It's said that this event is what created the 7,000 islands that would make up the Philippines. This is a Visayan myth about a family of gods. Thousands of years ago, there was no land, sun, moon, or stars, and the world was only a great sea of water, above which stretched the sky. The water was the kingdom of the goddess Magayan, and the sky was ruled by the great god Kaptan. Magayan had a daughter named Lidagat, the sea, and Kaptan had a son known as Lihangin, the wind. The gods agreed to the marriage of their children, so the sea became the bride of the wind, and a daughter and 3 sons were born to them. Likalibutan had a body of rock and was strong and brave. Liadlaw was formed of gold and was always happy. Libulan was made of copper and was weak and timid. And the beautiful Lisuka had a body of pure silver and was sweet and gentle. Their parents were very fond of them, and nothing was wanting to make them happy. After a time, Lihangin died and left the control of the winds to his eldest son, Likalibutan. The faithful wife, Liragat, soon followed her husband, and the children, now grown up, were left without a father or mother. However, their grandparents, Kaptan and Magwayan, took care of them and guarded them from all evil. After some time, Likalibutan, proud of his power over the winds, resolved to gain more power and asked his brothers to join him in an attack on Kaptan in the sky above. They refused at first, but when Likalibutan became angry with them, the amiable Liadlaw, not wishing to offend his brother, agreed to help. Then together, they induced the timid Libulan to join in the plan. When all was ready, the three brothers rushed at the sky, but they could not beat down the gates of steel that guarded the entrance. Likalibutan let loose the strongest winds and blew the bars in every direction. The brothers rushed into the opening, but were met by the angry god Kaptan. So terrible did he look that they turned and ran in terror. But Kaptan, furious at the destruction of his gates, sent 3 bolts of lightning after them. The first struck the copper Libulan and melted him into a ball. The second struck the golden Liadlaw, and he too was melted. The third bolt struck Likalibutan, and his rock body broke into many pieces and fell into the sea. So huge was he that parts of his body stuck out above the water and became what is known as land. In the meantime, the gentle Lisuga had missed her brothers and started to look for them. She went toward the sky, but as soon as she approached the broken gates, Kaptan, blind with anger, struck her too with lightning, and her silver body broke into thousands of pieces. Kaptan then came down from the sky and tore the sea apart, calling on Magwayan to come to him and accusing her of ordering the attack on the sky. Soon, Magwayan appeared and answered that she knew nothing of the plot, as she had been asleep deep in the sea. After some time, she succeeded in calming the angry Kaptan. Together, they wept at the loss of their grandchildren, especially the gentle and beautiful Lisuga. But even with their powers, they could not restore the dead back to life. However, they gave to each body a beautiful light that will shine forever. And so it was the golden Liadlaw became the sun, and the copper Libulan the moon, while Lizuga's pieces of silver were turned into the stars of heaven. To the wicked Likalibutan, the gods gave no light, but resolved to make his body support a new race of people. So Kaptan gave Magwayan a seed, and she planted it on one of the islands. Soon, a bamboo tree grew up, and from the hollow of one of its branches, a man and woman came out. The man's name was Sikalak, and the woman was Sikabe. They were the parents of the human race. And last, a tale of 3 gods. In the beginning of time, there were 3 powerful gods who lived in the universe. There was Batala, the caretaker of the earth, Ulilang Kalulawa, or the orphan spirit, a huge serpent who lived in the clouds, and Galang Kalulawa, or the wandering spirit, the winged god who loved to travel. These 3 gods did not know each other. Batala often dreamt of creating mortals, but the empty earth stopped him from doing so. Ulilang Kalulawa, who was equally as lonely as Batala, liked to visit places, and the earth was his favorite. One day, the two gods met. Ulilang Kalulawa, seeing another god rivaling him, was not pleased. He challenged Batala to a fight to decide who would be the ruler of the universe. After 3 days and 3 nights, Ulilang Kalulawa was slain by Batala. Instead of giving him a proper burial, Batala burned the snake's remains. A few years later, the third god, Galang Kalulawa, wandered into Batala's home. He welcomed the winged god with much kindness and even invited him to live in his kingdom. They became true friends and were very happy for many years. Then, Galang Kalulawa became very ill. Before he died, he instructed Batala to bury him in the spot where Ulilang Kalulawa's body was burned. Batala did exactly as he was told. Out of the grave of the two dead gods grew a tall tree, the first coconut tree. Batala took the coconut and husked it. He noticed that the inner skin was hard. The coconut itself reminded him of Galang Kalulawa's head. It had 2 eyes, a nose, and a round mouth. Its leaves looked so much like the wings of his dear winged friend, but the trunk was hard and ugly, like the body of his enemy, the snake Ulilang Kalulawa. It was then that Batala realized he could finally create the creatures he wanted with him on Earth. And so he created the vegetation and animals and the first man and woman. Thank you for listening to my tale.